The smell of coffee is in the air. It must be time for another episode of The Art of Struggle. Welcome to another episode of my podcast called The Art of Struggle. You can hear me rant about art, video games, movies, pop culture, CGI, the industry, and much, much more. My name is Fatai, and I'll be your guide as we explore the world of CG, pop culture, and the people who make it all possible. All right, let's dive in. Today, I'm just going to try to give you guys some resources that you can use, like essential resources for game developers and game professionals alike, where you can get good information, just a little bit about what it is, and you can go from there. These are resources that you should be using. If you're a game designer, if you're programming, if you're just wanting to create good game art. All right, so this list was compiled by the good folks over at Game Career Guide. This article is written by Jasmine Green. She starts off by saying that as game developers, we're always striving to improve our craft, whether by finding online tutorials or videos. However, it can be difficult to wade through the large amount of information of tutorials and information, whether you're just getting started or you want to improve your skills in an area. We've gathered some of the best resources we could find for the many different areas of game development. So I'm going to give you her list, and I'm probably going to add some to her list. All right. So let's start off with the game design portion. So if you want to get into game design and you want to hear about philosophy, the history of it, I think the best way to start would be just to watch a lot of those extra credit videos. Extra credit is it's just pretty much insightful looks at games throughout history and why they do or don't work. So they'll go through RPG games, why games aren't selling, why game designers do what they do. And I think it's super dope because it's they're these little animated cartoons and stuff, so they're very easily consumed, and you can just watch them, kind of get that good information. There's also the GDC Vault, which is an excellent library of videos from various GDC panels about game design and game development. They have a free and paid section, right? There's also the Game Design Dojo. While they haven't released a podcast since 2016, their backlog offers some excellent insights and is hosted by two game industry veterans. All right. There's also Lost Garden. Although the author doesn't update often, there are tons of great articles on how to improve core gameplay and even some free art assets. All right. So on game design, I think Polycount is also a good avenue to check because they have an entire game design section in their wiki, their Polycount wiki. If you go through, they have some awesome tutorials, awesome gameplay references and stuff like that. All right, so now let's jump into programming. All right, for programming, there's Udemy. You've probably seen the commercials online on YouTube and stuff. So Udemy, if you've got a little extra scratch, check out some classes in Udemy. Almost every month they have a $15 sale on some of the most popular courses, so you can quickly learn how to create a game in Unity, HTML5, and more for a relatively low cost. So some of these tips are going to be, either low cost or no cost. Sometimes you got to pay to learn, All right, so learn Unity. What better place to learn how to use an engine than from the creators of the engine itself? Unity offers plenty of tutorials both standalone and as part of a series where you will actually complete a full game. And I've done a few of the games they had. I did the Rollerball game. I made that one in Unity, and then I made that top-down space shooter. And they were pretty cool. They were pretty straightforward, easy to use. They didn't really take a lot of, because they give you all the assets that you need. So, and even with the Rollerball one, you just made it out of primitives, and then they just showed you how to use lines of code to make it work and all that good stuff. So that's a very good avenue to try to use. Game programming patterns. See, this free book shows you some common patterns you'll often use when programming a game, complete with pictures and sample code. All right. There's also Game Code School. You can pick and choose some lessons or take a full course to take you from beginner to intermediate coder here. Even better, you can learn different engines like Unreal, GameMaker, and more. While you won't be able to download the sample projects for some of the tutorials, the site does provide you with some written explanation and the final code. All right. There's also Envato tutorials, Envato Tuts Plus, and I think that used to be like PSD Tuts, CG Tuts. Like there used to be back in the day when I was first in school, there used to be this site, and it used to be like PSD Tuts, and then it would have all tutorials for Photoshop, and there would be like Illustrator Tuts, and then CG Tuts, Video Tuts, and they were these different sites that taught you cool things to do inside of Photoshop, making games, videos, all that other stuff. And eventually, I think Envato bought all of them and then just combined it into one studio. I could be wrong. So here you'll find a variety of tutorials ranging from programming to art to game design. It updates at least once a week, and there's a pretty hefty backlog of tutorials. With that said, some of the older ones might not be useful, especially for engines. So be aware of new coding conventions if you choose to use something like Unity or GameMaker. Okay, so there's also Lazy Foos tutorials. When getting started with programming, you want to learn the best practices and mentality of coding. That way you can easily transfer this to other languages like C#, Java, etc. Lazy Foos tutorials have been around for years, but it's still a great starting point for those who want to start good habits. So it teaches you the best practices for your code and just good knowledge. All right. And then there's Free Code Camp. While it mostly focuses on web development, if you plan on making web games or HTML games, then this is definitely the place for some excellent free tutorials. You can even learn about Git and GitHub. All right, so definitely some dope programming choices to pick from. All right, so now we're gonna move on to game art. Probably my favorite section. All right, so we're gonna start off with there's 2D game art for programmers. If you're not an artist but don't have the time, money to find one, but you don't have the time or money to find one, no worries. This site teaches you how to make attractive and simple vector art for your game. The author does a great job providing step-by-step guides and occasionally provides the actual files for you to use. Best of all, he uses free programs like GIMP and Inkscape so you can easily follow along. All right, so there's also Open Game Art, which if you need some assets quickly, maybe for a game jam or just for prototyping, then this is the best place to go. While the quality of the artwork varies, you can definitely find some that will blow you away. Before using it in a commercial game, make sure to check the licensing, and for good measure, contact the creator if you have any questions on usage. Kenny, I guess is the name of this one. I can't say enough good things about Kenny. Not only does he provide top quality assets, he also provides the majority of them for free. Kenny also has developed a program, Asset Forge, where you can easily create your own 3D or 2D sprites. Alright, so let's move on to Spine. If you want to create your own 2D animations, this is the program to use. It focuses on 2D skeletal animation, so you can quickly and easily create all of the animations you need. Alright, we're going to some freeware now. Blender. If you're looking to make 3D models and don't want to spend hundreds of dollars on another program, then Blender is definitely the go-to program since it is free. Other programs like 3ds Max, Maya, all that stuff costs like thousands of dollars. So if you don't wanna fork over that cash, well, there's freeware like Blender. There's definitely a learning curve here, so make sure to check out some tutorials and find some sample projects before you get started. All right, let's dive into Dragon Bones. It's similar to Spine in the sense that Dragon Bone allows you to create skeletal 2D animation. However, it's free to use, which is even better and supports both Mac and Windows. Alright, there's also Krita, which is a free open source painting program. The program initially started as a GIMP plugin, but eventually evolved to a fully functioning program. It's easy to use, intuitive, and offers a great support community. Alright. Alright. So that's where we're going to end today. Tomorrow we're going to go over the game and music sound effects resources that you can find. There is we're going to go over the marketing, then there's the forums, and then there's just others, and then I'll add some extra ones that you can check out that are just great resources for getting inspiration and concept and stuff like that. So I want to thank you for listening to another episode of The Art of Struggle. It's time for us to move on to the quote of the day. All right, let's see what we got today. Today. All right. Colin R. Davis said, "The road to success and the road to failure are almost exactly the same." Henry David Thoreau once said, "Success usually comes to those who are too busy to be looking for it." Chris Grosser said, "Opportunity doesn't happen. You create them." John D. Rockefeller said, "Don't be afraid to give up the good to go for the great." Thomas Jefferson once said, "I find that the harder I work, the more luck I seem to have." Ray Goforth said, "There are two types of people who will tell you that you cannot make a difference in this world. Those who are afraid to try, and those who are afraid you will succeed." Jim Rohn once said, "Successful people do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do." Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Albert Einstein once said, "Try not to become a man of success. Rather, become a man of value." I'm going to leave you with a quote from Winston Churchill. He said, "Never give in except to convictions of honor and good sense." Success is walking from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. I want to thank you for listening to another episode of The Art of Struggle. My name is Fatai. You can catch any of the episodes on iTunes, Spotify, Anchor, Pocket Casts, Google Play, pretty much wherever you get your podcasts. I want to remind you to keep on making those art gains. Keep on keeping on. Keep on writing, keep on drawing, keep on painting, keep on sculpting, keep on designing, keep on programming, keep dancing, keep singing. Because the life you want is on the other side of your struggle. I want to remind you, the life you want is on the other side of your struggle. Remember, you can catch all the videos on YouTube. Don't forget to send me a message on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Art of Struggle. Ask me a question, whatever, leave a comment, do whatever you got to do. Subscribe up there, I think. And then down there should be a cool video you can watch after. Look at my pointing finger. My pointing finger. All right. I thank you very much for listening to another episode. This is Ty, and I'm signing out.